Great. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining the presentation. I'm Tony Fox, and I just wanted to, before I introduce Steve Albanese, I wanted to just tell you a little bit about Training Pros, although I think most of you are already familiar. But just for those that aren't, we work with clients that have learning and develop initiatives, and they don't have the bandwidth or the people, whatever, to get this work done. So we work within the region, wherever these people are located, and find that work with the talent pool of consultants. But some of the things that we do a little bit different is that we have relationship managers in every region, and we both work not only with the clients but also with the consultants. So we bring everybody together, and we also have a proven onboarding for success methodology that we use for both the clients and the consultants. And so, as you can see here, you can go to our website, training-pros.com, and I'm Tony Fox. You can always reach me at 800-TONY-FOX. But also, we're, again, in every region. Most of you know Training Pros, but if you don't, give a call, take a look on our website, and we're thrilled to work with you. I'm also going to introduce Steve Albanese with LearnBolt, and something you're going to love the presentation on data mining, but also some interesting information. If you download their app and enter Training Pros, you get a free trial with them. So I think that's going to be worthwhile. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Steve Albanese. Steve?
Great. Thanks, Tony. And popping my screen up there. Make sure everybody can see it. Are we good to go? Can you see it, Tony?
Yep, we're all set.
All right. Well, welcome, guys. Thanks for taking the time to check out this webinar. I'm delighted to be here and present a few things that I'm really passionate about and show you a little bit of our product. So, once again, the topic of the day is knowledge mining for the now information. And so how I'd like to organize this webinar is really get into the initial, like, what? What are these things? How do I define knowledge mining? The information. Then move from there to the whys. Like, why would we do this? Why wouldn't we do this? Kind of give you some pluses and minuses there, and these kind of help you to make your own thoughts on ideas. And then finally, I'd like to get in a little bit of hows. I talked about, we've been doing this for a while and come up with some techniques and how you might work with a subject matter expert or organize some of the content. And then finally, what I'm going to do is just step right out and do a little demo in LearnBolt and show you how the application works live. So to start off, I'm just going to move over here and get into the now information age. So what the heck is this? We've been in the information age for quite some time, digitizing all of this content, and the internet really is the sea of information. And bear with me here, I'm going to go through a little bit of history, but there's a means to the end. So, we have all this information out there, and a big advancement with search engines come in, and all of a sudden this wealth of information is really at our fingertips. We can search and find it. And I really think the next big, one of the next big advancements, if not the biggest, is the mobile and cloud technology moving around. And really what that is, we have all this information, we can search and find it, and now with mobile technology, we get into the anywhere, anytime access. So I'd be willing to bet that most of you have some type of smartphone or tablet, either in your pocket or in arm's reach. And what I've noticed is that really the evolution of how we interact with technology comes into almost an expectation. And I call it the now expectation, because with all of that information available to us, and we have this powerful device in our pocket, we have the now expectation that information is immediately accessible on almost any general information at any point at any time. Like, I don't have to worry about things, I can just immediately have access to it. And I believe it kind of changes the way that you do things and your expectation. So the reason I'm mentioning this and where I'm going is anytime I develop some content or I'm developing a product, I always want to think first about the customer. What's the customer's perspective? And I think this is getting lost a little bit in some of the training development out there, traditional stuff that's done. And so what I'm kind of focusing on is that what I call the now generation. You know, I have baby boomers, you have, you know, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, millennials, etc. But most of us, if we're using this technology on a daily basis, it's our expectation that this information is readily available for us. And this is general information. It's not always the case with our business information. So the next thing would be the knowledge mining. And
Steve,
so now
sorry.
I'll try to project here, and Justin, please jump in if you can't. But anyway, guys, hopefully you got some of that as I rip through this. But so knowledge mining, you know, I'm sure a lot of you have a perception of what it is, and you know, I kind of go back when I'm building a product or I'm thinking about building content. I kind of go back to the core stuff and like, okay, mining, or you know, why are we using it? In general, you know, we're extracting valuable core material from a source location for the purpose of creating a product. Like, why are we doing knowledge mining? Because we're going to be creating something. We're going to develop some training. We're going to organize this knowledge. So there's a mission behind, you know, what we're doing here. And then what I think is also important when you get into knowledge mining in these organizations is you want to collect that stuff and you want to store the content in a format that makes it quick and easy to deliver and consume. So yes, I might have some knowledge in someone's head. How do I go in and mine that, get it out of the subject matter expert, but immediately put it in a format that I can start sharing it and have effective knowledge transfer throughout the organization. So that's going to be my general perspective here, in that knowledge, you know, the now information that our customers, our learners, really have an expectation that they should be able to get this information when and where they need it at any time. The other thing is that, you know, what the whole process of knowledge mining. I want to get it, get out, and get it in a format that I can share. So the next thing is I kind of step out, and if you're working for a large organization and you're in a training department, you know, once again I like to think of, like, why the heck am I doing all this stuff? And really, if I'm part of a larger organization, the reason I'm doing it is I'm trying to help this, you know, what's the business mission? They want to become a great business. And I love using this quote here. It's a great product or service alone does not make a great business. The ability to sustain the quality and consistency as demand increases is key to a business's growth and success. So if you think about it, no matter what business, it's quality and consistency. If we have one location, we're a retail chain or we're a pizza place or whatever, you know, someone came up with a great idea to build a product or service, and that's that core information. And then when we grow, when we expand our business, we have to be able to replicate that. We have to be able to consistent. And I think that's really a key point for the whole idea of knowledge mining, making sure you have that information readily available. So then we get into, you know, why knowledge mine. And hopefully some of you, since you've joined this webinar, can kind of relate to this. And it's funny, when I go around and I work with smaller businesses and I kind of ask them about this process, you know, knowledge in their business. And hopefully you see it like knowledge is valuable. Like, what's the most valuable resource for a business? In many cases, it's the knowledge that it possesses to do their job, you know. The one guy who really can make this great widget, the one guy that's figured this one thing out. And when I start asking about, you know, in a business, and I say, well, you know, what are you guys doing to ensure this knowledge? You know, the guy said, what do you mean?
Hey, Steve, it's Justin again. Sorry. I think if you could.
And here I'm giving you bad audio. So anyway, I will continue, move on. Hopefully you were able to hear at least a little bit of that. But now I'm getting into the, like, why knowledge mining, and I talked about, you know, the value of it. And here's just some in the field perspective. When I talk to business owners about doing this, or companies, and say, well, what's your knowledge mining practice? And I said, do you have any insurance on that knowledge? And then, you know, they kind of look at me like I'm crazy. And then I say, well, how about the hardware? Do you guys, you know, what happens if this fryer goes away, or your trucks are gone, or your business? And they say, oh, well, we have insurance for that. And, you know, so they don't really think and value, you know, how much this knowledge is worth. Like, knowledge loss really means knowledge, you know, dollars lost. Because if that subject matter expert leaves, and if you owned a business before, and I have, and it's hit me in the gut, when a guy I was working with was the greatest at one thing, and he really had all of the knowledge of our organization in his head on a specific task, it was really tough to recover after that. So I think it's important to have a process in place for knowledge transfer. And once again, what does it get back to? It gets back to supporting the growth of the business. I mean, that's why we're there. And then, it gets back to, once again, sustained quality and consistency. Fortunately, with LearnBolt, we've been able to work with small companies all the way up to one of the largest hotel chains in the world. And it seems like the issue is very consistent across the board. Now, the other thing I want to mention, too, is where in today's fast-paced world, you have best practices, and as trainers and developers, you might, you get this policies and procedures in place, but since things are changing so quickly, you kind of have to be nimble in thinking that, hey, today's best practice might be tomorrow's better practice, and then there's a better yet better practice. So if you can create a system where you're kind of nimble and you're constantly mining this information, it makes it great, so you can transfer the latest information to the customers, which are the learners. Why most businesses don't mine their knowledge? Not the best phrase at the top, but why don't they do it? Well, I find in many cases it's the cost, time, and effort hurdle. It's like, oh, we can't do that. It would cost too much money. Or I relate it to the knowledge to delivery cost ratio. It's like, I have some knowledge in this guy's head here, and how much is it going to cost me to extract it? Is it going to be 1x, 2x, 3x? And then just the perceived value of that time and effort that it would take to do that. Now, so what I've done is basically define this, and so what do businesses do who don't have a full training program in a smaller business, which we're working with, like the regional chains? A lot of them just lean on shadowing. And the one thing I want to point out here is shadowing. It can be beneficial, but in many cases, the go-to shadowing, when you think the cost, time, and effort is low, if you look at the big picture, and you might see that in a long run, it's really not. Because what was our goal? Our goal was we created a great product or service. We're growing our business. We want to continue in the consistency of that. And if you look at my little graph here, I've got the main dude up front with his light bulb. It's bright. And as we get out to the fourth generation, it's kind of faded out. So the knowledge that's being delivered from this customer or from this employee to the customer is not really close to what the original vision was. And so is that really, effective knowledge transfer, and the return on investment, is it really hurting you? So, a small business, are they going to do this kind of stuff? Probably not. But if you're in a larger corporation, which some of you guys might work for larger businesses, is that, yes, they understand the whole idea of knowledge mining and how important it is to make sure that we have all the information available for our employees immediately. And I kind of see content knowledge mining as collecting, organizing, and sharing. So in a traditional method, you might see something like this, where I have my subject matter expert here, and I might have some traditional hardware, maybe an expensive camera. We're doing high, as a big company, we have an expensive camera, some tools, and so to do that, I really would need a professional who understands how to operate that equipment. Once I've got the content, maybe I want to edit and organize it a little bit. So maybe I use some professional authoring tools. And here, once again, I might need a professional to do that, because it's not just something you pick up. And then finally, I need to share it. And so here I might use something like a learning management system, which once again, I need people to do that. So the point is the time that it takes and the cost, time, and effort it takes to get over here might be, in this simple example, 1 to 6. In some cases, it might be 1 to 10, 1 to 20, depending on how long it takes to get into your learning management system and QR, all this stuff. It really could be a long, cumbersome process. And some of you might have leaner processes than that, but if you look at across the board, this becomes a non-starter for companies that just can't afford it, or it's just beyond them. So, seeing a problem and seeing the need, this is where you get into developing a product. And so I've owned businesses before, and I really saw this as a potential issue. So in the LearnBolt scenario, what we have is a turnkey mobile solution. and knowledge to delivery. So our mission was to make this as short and as inexpensive as possible. So what do? LearnBolt empowers business owners, managers, and employees from the moment of training need to the collection, organization, and delivery of knowledge or content, all within one system and all from a mobile device. So if you go from, hey, this guy's got some stuff we're extracting out of his head and getting it to the learner, in some cases, it might be as quick as a one-to-one relationship, maybe 1 to 2, but it's definitely a lot quicker than the other thing. And can you actually do this? Well, a few years ago, I don't think it really would be possible, but mentioning the technology advancements earlier on, I think you can. So it's power in consolidation. So in this situation, we no longer really need all these individual hardware devices to capture all of these things. My expensive video camera. I'm sure some of you have taken a picture or recorded a video or recorded some audio with say an iPad or a smart device. It's getting kind of crazy how great they are. I have expensive cameras and I end up using my iPhone all the time. So this is a convergence to this, I call it a super device. Now, okay, I have the ability to ingest content from anywhere to this super device. Where do I store it? Well, with cloud-based technology right now and speeds, I can really push this to the cloud, and it allows me to integrate with all different types of cloud platforms. So what do you need? You need something in the middle that ties it all together, and that's really where LearnBolt comes in. And so where I see LearnBolt fitting as far as the app in it, it is an application. It's a cloud-based application. So right now it's an iOS front end, but it's a pretty substantial cloud back end. We can have an Android front end or a web front end, but at this point we're at iOS and we'll be rolling out the other platforms. But I really see it as kind of the Swiss Army knife. It's really the hub of the Swiss Army knife, and you can use auxiliary tools if you want, all within that platform, or you could do it all within LearnBolt. It just depends on how sophisticated you want to get. Now, you could just, as you guys know, capture some content with your iPhone. It looks great right off the bat. But if you want to step up the level and maybe some larger organizations, what we've done to try to merge this opportunity to not only the small businesses but some of the larger corporations is that you really can get an amazing quality out of an inexpensive rig. And we call it a mining rig. So we've partnered up with a company called Iographer. And they make cases for mobile devices, which are pretty amazing. They're pretty sturdy, and they allow you to capture video and audio, kind of adjust the iPad well, and then there are different shoes at the top where you can attach things like wireless microphones, shotgun microphones. You can put it on a tripod. You can use extra lights, battery, and all in one case. So this almost compares to like what you might spend in today's world in a $20,000 media rig for a fraction of that cost with a mobile device. So we're trying to create a turnkey system here that really takes you from the conception to the delivery and really delivering high quality stuff. So next,
Hey,
yes, can you hear me?
sorry. Yeah, we're hearing you pretty.
So the one thing that so now I'm kind of getting into the whole idea of just production techniques, and really you can do this in any realm. How do you deal with a subject matter expert? Like if that's your mission as a trainer, sometimes subject matter experts might be holding their information close to their chest. This is maybe their job security. I don't know, but what I really feel is that when you're in this role, you have to become a cross between a journalist, interviewer / media production person. And so what I like to do when I'm working with a subject matter expert is put them at ease and kind of coach them through the process. They're the expert. They know all of this stuff. We need to somehow capture it. And so what I'll start off a lot is just kind of an introduction and giving them a few feeder lines. And I'll say, all right, hey, Jim, we're going to cover this area, this process, or this procedure right now. And how about starting off in this way? In this video, I'm going to cover X. And then from there, tell me a little bit about it, and then maybe when you're ending, kind of give me a little summary. And as you can see, it's relatively easy to do X. You kind of plant these seeds. And I always stress as I'm going through this, beginning, middle, and end. You try to break it down for this person because they're not used to, in many cases, delivering this content. They got it all stuck in their head, and some are better than others, but really it doesn't matter to you. When you're a knowledge miner, you're there to get that information, and that's your job. And so in our scenario, it's all being captured on this mobile device and immediately uploaded to the cloud. Now, the other thing is that what I try to break it down to is make it simple, like, what are we doing, why are we doing, when, where, and a lot of this stuff might be very basic and obvious to some of you guys, but hopefully it just helps you, think about it and just focus when you start doing this stuff again. Now, the other thing that I think, which we try to stress with LearnBolt and knowledge mining, is collecting support media. So, for example, if I'm in this situation, and maybe you capture a video, maybe that's the core, but start snapping pictures, take all the supplies, get all of those individual assets so you have them available to support what this guy is saying. Maybe he references a PDF, so can you grab that? Maybe he references a website. You're just basically collecting all the raw information so that when someone goes to consume this content, they have more than they'd ever need, all the support information they need. So that's kind of my general vibe on it. Now, when I get specifically into LearnBolt, and so how do we design this thing? LearnBolt was designed around three major principles: collect, organize, and share. So the part of LearnBolt which is collecting is our media library, and I mentioned this earlier. So we can grab live content with our super device. We can scrape anything off the web. We can integrate with Dropbox, Google Drive, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, and text, picture, sound, video, web link gets put into this content management system. We can tag it, we can search it, etc. So now the next thing is the organization of this content. And so what we've done is we've created these things called LearnPath. And a LearnPath is a well thought out structure designed to help you organize the content into a nice, neat, beautiful package. So we have template structures such as how-tos, lessons, tours, guides, reviews. They're really meant to help you get over the hurdle of putting this stuff together in a package. And then finally is the sharing of this content. And that's really the cloud. So anything within the LearnBolt application, any content that you collect is immediately uploaded to the cloud. So the media library lives in the cloud. Any LearnPaths that you create, any edits to the LearnPaths that you make, any tagging you do, it's all dynamically uploaded in the background. Now the beauty of this is, since all of that content is there, when you go to share a LearnPath or some content to some of your learners, it's there, and so it's like sending them the text message. It's immediately deliverable. So really our goal was to cut down that content to delivery time frame and cost, time, and effort. And I'm really excited to say that I think we've done a pretty good job in doing that. So that being said, I'd love to show you the product. So I'm actually using LearnBolt right now. And so what I'm going to do in the top right-hand corner, this is the Show Hide button, so I can show the controls. And I'm going to go up and hit in the left-hand corner, which is the LearnPath Library button. So now I'm in the LearnPath Library, and I'm going to hit again in the top left-hand corner a button that looks like a house, and that's the home screen. So what I'd like to do is just kind of give you a quick overview of what the pieces and parts of the application. Then we'll create some content, and I'll share it and kind of show you the entire process in the next few minutes. So in a traditional application that you might use, over on the right you have a profile screen where you can go in and enter your specific information. Now, Tony had mentioned earlier that we had a special promo for you guys. And so if you do end up creating a LearnBolt account and you go into your profile, you'll notice a button up here in your account which is called Upgrade. And if you tap that, you'll see an option to enter info code. And we created one which I'll show you at the end, which you can enter in. It will give you 3 months to try our premium package. So I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to go back to the home screen. Now within LearnBolt we have the ability to have a roster, and so I'm just going to tap on the roster. And so how LearnBolt works, it's a freemium tiered system with a custom white label option. So we really charge by the number of seats in your account. and how much storage. And then there's some additional features that I'll show you here once you get up into the premium account. But so if I wanted to create an account, up in the top left-hand corner, you'll see the plus sign, and that's the add. And you'll notice as we go through this, the interface being pretty consistent. So the add, I'm in a roster. If I wanted to add a user, I could go in and enter their name. And then one thing that you can do within LearnBolt is you can assign roles. There are 4 roles. Right now I'm signed as an administrator, where I can basically run the account. I can buy things, upgrade it, etc. The other roles that you can assign are supervisor, and a supervisor is a person that can create content, they can add content, and they can manage the roster. An educator or trainer would be a person who simply just adds content. They can capture video, they can create a learn path, but they can't do anything with the roster. And then finally is a learner, and a learner is really just a consumer of the content. That would be kind of the employee. So you can set that up, and also, if you had a list of employees, you can go to Dropbox or Google Drive and import everybody's name via CSV file. So you have that ability to integrate a large group. You can also set up groups, with that for sharing, etc. So now kind of the heart of, and some information over here, if you download this, you can go through a little info page that tells you a little bit about LearnBolt, and there's a video tutorial that gives you some information on how to use it. But the core to LearnBolt is really in this center section, which is the media library and LearnPath library. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to tap the media library. So here is basically a content management system. I can search different things that I've already added to it. I can go ahead and sort by different things. I can look at just text, image, sound. I can look at it different ways, etc. And then you'll notice the interface at the top. Once again, I have an add button. So if I wanted to add some content, I could just simply tap the add button, and then my options are to add different types of media. So I could say I wanted to go to text. I wanted to add a text document. So I could go to Google Drive, and I go to my Google Drive, and I go to a specific folder. I grab a text document, maybe this guy, and I can go ahead and upload. And so what's happening is it's grabbing that content from Google Drive and now putting it into my own cloud library where I have access to it. I could go ahead and go in and start tagging this. I could say, hotel, comma, bath, comma, shower. And what we're also trying to do with the mobile device is leverage what you can do. So I could go in and say, this PDF covers the bath care, shower head, repair procedure. So the point here is to the speed. Now I could go back and start adding other content. You can see if I look at images, I can go right to my camera, I can go to Dropbox, Google Drive, even scrape the web for content if I needed it. So this is something that you might just use as a repository to grab some content. But the real power of LearnBolt comes in when you start creating and organizing the content. So now what I'm going to do is I just went over to the LearnPath library. And so the LearnPath library is where you can organize any of this content. So what I'm going to do is, once again, in the top left-hand corner, I'm going to hit the Add button. And here I have options. I'm going to go ahead and I can hit Create a LearnPath or Create a Course. A course is a group of LearnPaths. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a LearnPath. And now here's what I mentioned before. We have the LearnPath types. So I basically figure out like what I'm going to do right now, and I could select one of these templates. So for example, I'm just going to select a lesson type. And then down at the bottom, what you have are different themes. It's basically just how it's going to look for you. So I'm going to go ahead and select one of these themes, and then I'll hit Create. And so what I would like to do is just give you a scenario here. And I'm going to build some content. I'm going to use some content. I'm going to add some content. But say, for example, I'm working at a hotel, and I'm a general manager. And some content has been created for us for the training development department, but I need an immediate need. I need to get some. So say a customer calls down, they said, hey, I'm in room 306 and the shower is broken. So what do? I call the maintenance guy and tell him, he goes and fixes it. But when I call, I find out that the guy that's typically not here or typically works here isn't here. There's a temp. And so what do? I need to address this customer issue very quickly, and I need to share some knowledge. So what I'm going to do is I'll just create something very quickly, and I'll leverage all the content that's already been created by either our L&D department or maybe a mining session, etc., and then add some of my own unique content on the fly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and I say, okay, shower head repair for Jose. Let's just say shower head repair. Quick lesson for Jose. Okay, and I could go ahead and hit a description, but then I'm just going to hit enter, and what's going to happen is LearnBolt is creating a learn path based on the lesson type. So now I have a basic structure to start adding content. And so, okay, I've got a title screen, but what we try to do is we try to cater towards various learning styles and knowledge levels. So visual learners. So can I make this more visually impactful? So I'm going to, and as we go through this, you'll notice that the interface basically floats over the content. And sometimes you can just tap the screen and add some content. So in the bottom right-hand corner, I'm just going to tap this button, and I'm going to add an image. And I'm going to search, okay? So I just tap that, and now that becomes my background. So now, once again, the Add button. I'm in LearnPath Edit, and I want to add. I'm going to add slides to this, or main path slides to this LearnPath. So here I can kind of go through, and these templates here are more just meant to get me organized. How do I want to put this stuff together? So okay, well, I'm going to do a video introduction, so I'll tap that slide. And maybe I wanted to do, you know, a where, a what, and maybe a how. And then maybe I end up with a conclusion. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit add. And so in very short order, I have an outline on where I can start adding content. So now I'm going to go back and tap to the introduction slide and say I wanted to add a video. So I could go ahead and tap that, and here are my options. I could go to the video library, or maybe I could just go to the camera. And so what I'm going to do is I'll go to the camera real quick and flip this over. Hi guys. And I'm going to do a little intro for Jose. Hey Jose, I know you haven't done this before, but I'm going to provide all the information you need to fix the shower head in room 306. You'll notice down at the bottom there are a few media links. There's a text media link that provides a job aid that shows you how to do it. There's also an image that will show you a map where you can find the supplies. I included a video tutorial that shows you how to change the specific shower heads. Oh, and by the way, if we don't have the specific shower head, we have a deal with Home Depot, and I'll include the link where you can just pick that up if it's needed. If you have any questions, give me a call. Thank you. Okay, so there it is. I could go ahead and use this and maybe trim it up a little bit if I needed to. Okay, my best look, but it's there. So I'll go ahead and hit use. So now that video has already been uploaded. It's being uploaded and probably uploaded to the cloud already. So now what I could do is I could start adding content. And I could go maybe to the next slide, or maybe I could just, you know, for this specific thing, I just want to make it quick and dirty, so I'm going to do all of my content on this first slide and maybe not use the other ones. So down at the bottom, what you'll notice are these things called media links. And the media links allow you to provide support information for what you have on the main path slide. So for example, I could go ahead and hit the text media icon and go to my library, and maybe I search shower. Okay, so there's one right there, and it pulls it in. Okay, so it's going to pull in that content, and there it is. It's available for him. Now if I go back to hit the back arrow, now you can see there's one little flag there. I mentioned about giving some directions to where Jose can find this information. So I hit the image media link. Now I'm going to find the layout of the hotel. So I'll go ahead and select that. And now there's the documentation of where he can find everything in the hotel. Next I'm going to do is, you know, I noticed when I spoke to Jose on the phone, it appears that English is his second language. So I'm going to include some stuff in Spanish. And I'll search this, and I'll go ahead and grab a few things. And Okay, so that content's been ingested, and maybe I want to get that video tutorial. I'll go ahead and find that. And once again, you could have just recorded this video. Maybe this video was provided by the L&D department or produced wherever, but it's available for me to start using. Now, one thing dynamically right now, as I mentioned, that we needed to get the shower head. So I'm going to go to the web. I'm going to go to search the web. I'm going to go Home Depot Easy Clean Moen. Let's change that. Let's research. Moen Easy Clean Shower Head. See if we can find that. Okay. All right, so there we go. So now I could go ahead and I could find that content. Oops. Oh my. Just say shower head. Okay, so I'm going to search that and find some shower heads. And okay, there's the one that we need. Tap that. And now I'm going to hit Use Web Link. And so now that information has been added to this LearnPath. So now I can go and I can continue going on. If I wanted to build this out and use the different slides, I could have put the the map on this second slide, but you kind of see initially I just put it all on that first slide. So I could go ahead and grab something and put it in there, etc. Or I could just go to, let's do that. Let's pull in a map, put that there. I wanted to give them more detail. If I wanted to, I could go and go to the next slide, add some content. I could record some audio. I could go and go to this slide and maybe add an image, go to my camera, maybe shoot a picture of something. Boom. There it's part of it. I could add caption text. On the screen I could start adding audio. In this section we're going to cover where you can find the equipment. So hopefully you can see that in very short order you can organize this content and put it together. So now really where the beauty comes in is I'm just going to go back to the LearnPath library. And so there's the LearnPath that I just created. I could go ahead and select that. And then the buttons up in the top right hand corner, the button with the 3 dots that's our share button. Okay, so share mode. So I'll go ahead and hit share. I'm going to select Jose from my roster. And when I hit share, he's going to get a notification that that content has now been shared to him. And just as a reference here, what I'll do is bring this up on my iPhone on the same screen. Let's and so okay, so I'm going to split the screen. So now there's my iPhone. I'm just going to enter in this guy's information to show you that it actually does work. And so now I'm logging in. I'm going to go to the LearnPath library. And there's what we just created. And now I can start going through the content. And this is the content that we just created. Now if you look back on my iPad screen, the button right up here is what we call the user activity reporting. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that on my iPad. And so now you can, in real time, see the activity. So I've gone through 14%. So I can go back and look and see what this person is actually doing in real time, go through all the content that we just added. So my original premise of hey, let's collect the content, let's organize it and share it in a very short period of time. That's kind of our general mission, and it's kind of great to see it working here. Now, the other thing that you might find interesting is, like, say, okay, Jose is now going to become one of our main employees. We might have a large format of training, and I'm going to go ahead and select our course, which is a group of Learn Paths, and I'll go ahead and select that, and I'll just share that to Jose. So now he's going to get, instead of just an abbreviated part of it, I'll go ahead and hit share, and now that is pushed to his phone, and if he goes back and he looks and refreshes, he'll now have that full course. And we can start tracking all of that stuff. So that's kind of LearnBolt in a flash, as I like to say. But I'd be happy to answer any questions if they're out there. I don't know how much time I have left, but so that's the whole concept is can you really build this content quickly and deliver it in a flash, as we say. So any questions or comments, or? Can't really see the,
yeah, Steve, I'm here. We didn't
so
have any
Justin,
questions come
there?
through, so this is a good time to check. It's 1:42, so we can sit for a few minutes and see if there's any questions, and or if you have anything else you'd like to share. But as of right now, I don't have any questions in the chat or in the QA area.
Okay. Okay. So if anybody's interested, I'll go back to my LearnPath library and go to the slide deck that I was using. Let's go ahead and share that. Get into that. So if you're interested in trying out LearnBolt, you can download it from the App Store. As of today, you'll need an iPad to do the content creation, and you can share it to iPhones or iPads. We're working on an Android version at this point for the player side. But I thought I'd offer you guys a free promo. So what you could do is if you go and download the app for free, you can use it. You don't have to do anything specifically. You could just download it and create an account, and you're ready to use it. If you wanted to try some of our premium features like the roster and some of the advanced stuff like user activity reporting, you'd need to upgrade to a premium account. So what I've done is I've created a promo code for you guys, which is TrainingPros. So if you download the app, create an account, go to the profile, and you can enter in TrainingPros, and that will give you a premium account for 3 months. So that's it, and that will expire in a week. So if you want to try it, I'd get on it. But that's it. I appreciate you guys taking the time to check this thing out. And once this is over, if you have any questions or would like to go through any specific thing in the product or platform, I'd be happy to go through it with you.
Steve, looks like we got a question that came through from Eunice. What problem are you solving? Can you walk us through a real-world case?
Okay, well, the problem, so there's a lot of different problems that we're solving. One is the whole concept. So we're working with a small brewery, and so they're expanding their business to a much larger facility, making a big investment. So they're going to be onboarding a lot of employees. Well, in a smaller business, and I'm saying like under 100 employees, sometimes they might have some documentation, but when you need to onboard, it may take a long time. So what we're able to do is do a mining session with the brewmaster, collect all the miscellaneous stuff that he needed, that he really needs to be spending his time on brewing the beer. But now all that raw information as far as cleaning kegs and the generic stuff is really in his pocket. So when they're onboarding new employees or cross-referencing on how you should connect certain kegs and fermenters and things like that, he has that information readily available to him. So it really, it's one of those things to build a training program where it might not be a training program. For the larger organization, Basically what I heard from them is they had an immediate need. And they needed to roll out some training to a large number of organizations, but their internal learning and development department, really, they'd have to submit a proposal, and it really was going to take them 6 to 9 months to get what they needed to do. So the middle manager was really ready to punt and just hand out a PDF. But we were able to come in, work with the subject matter expert in a weekend, collect all the content, and roll it out to 432 locations nationwide in a week. And so what problem are we solving? Any company that really needs nimble, in the moment development and delivery, I think that would be we're not a learning management system. We're not. I wouldn't say we're a specifically authoring tool. I would say we're kind of in between. I call it a training, development, and delivery system. We really more knowledge. We manage the knowledge. I think we're kind of in a transition here, where, in the quote Snapchat generation, where people want to be able to collect stuff, they want to be able to share it. It's kind of be in the moment. And I found, and I've actually built a learning management system in the past, and I think in today's world, trying to create this new breed, this thing somewhere in between that really leverages the technology that's available to us today. So hopefully it helped.
All right, I think that's the only question that we had. Yep, Eunice has said that everything is good. So I want to. So Steve, do you have anything else before we go?
No, that's it. Just thank you for taking the time to listen, and hopefully the audio problems weren't too much in the beginning, so you were able to catch some of those things. But if you have any questions, some contact information here. Get to my end slide. Once again, our site is LearnBolt.com. I can be reached at info@LearnBolt.com, and then our Twitter account is just LearnBolt. So if you want to reach out to us in any one of these ways, I'd love to chat with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Steve. I thought it was fascinating. It seems like a really cool product, so I'm going to probably check out your that offer that you made to let people try it out. So thank you very much, Steve, and thank you, TrainingPros, as always. We just get so much out of this partnership, and we really enjoy being able to bring content like this to folks in a webinar. Thanks for sticking around. We're going to close up now. If you don't mind, I'm going to bring up a feedback form. You could just fill in some polls and let us know how we're doing. And we take the feedback seriously to improve these sessions. And thank you very much, and enjoy your Thursday, everyone.